Blackpink dropped their debut album, The Album, which is a great album name. And
Speaking of SEO,
yeah, and I gotta say, Blackpink, we talked a lot about BTS on this. We talked about Blackpink a decent amount. Um, they feel like they have potential to dethrone them eventually. BTS. I mean, we talked about how they've broken records on YouTube when they've dropped videos, things like that, and it feels like it's between them and BTS now, just to like break YouTube video records for the next, I don't know, however many years.
It literally just happened.
Yeah,
they set the record. They set the record again with How You Like That back in June, August, whenever that was, which is the lead single for this debut album, back in August. Back in June. 86.3 million views first 24 hours. And then BTS re-broke the record again in August with Dynamite. So you have to imagine they'll continue to trade back and forth because they've both set that record multiple times at this point. It's just really cool to see. But even apart from BTS, like Blackpink is the most subscribed to group on YouTube. I think they're like the second or third most subscribed to musical artist period on the platform. And obviously the biggest female group in the world. And if you think about female groups, they're the biggest since who? Like when we talked about BTS, it was like, since like One Direction. Like there's more male groups, but like female groups on an international stage, it's like Destiny's Child and Spice Girls. Like it's been a fucking long time that someone's been at this level for even this short amount of time, because Blackpink has only really been putting out music for a few years. Coming into this album, they only had 15 official songs.
Dave, I feel like
and all 15 are hits. Like,
I feel like you're really forgetting Boy Genius in this discussion. No, but your point is well taken. I think that they are a unicorn in a sense that groups like them that have this star power and are all female and this music hit making ability come around maybe like once in a decade. And you can really hear on the album why they're so popular, because you get two huge features on this, but even the songs without the features I think are really, really strong. I don't know if I loved all of these, but they make music in a very distinct way. Their song structure feels so unique to me for some reason. Like they have these like weird change ups, like pre-chorus build-ups that just like really bring you in, and then they have these super catchy choruses. There's each song sounds like it's like influenced by different things. It's just really really interesting to listen to this. How did you feel listening to the album?
Yeah, to that point, I feel like you can kind of hear the dance breaks and choreography moments that will accompany the songs. And K-pop in general is very much a visual medium, a visual genre. And intense choreography, whether it's in a music video or a live set, is a huge part of the music. And you can kind of like hear, if you listen to this album, you can kind of hear it's like, oh, this is the moment where X will happen, and all the fans will take the video here, and then I'll see those videos under chart data tweets for the next year, like the fan cams, right? Like you can kind of just like see like the construction of it. But yeah, I feel like just about all their songs, especially like the banger ones, like How You Like That, like those songs are just engineered to be nonstop all the time, even as they progress from verse to chorus to hook, to whatever, right?
Yep.
And on the other hand, like if you listen to actual sounds of this, right, like you have a lot of like big maximalist EDM drops, which is not new in K-pop at all, but like it almost feels like throwback to me, right? Like I think it's cool to compare them to BTS, because BTS is doing very different things musically, especially when you listen to Dynamite, their newest hit, which is kind of a throwback, almost disco song, right? But Blackpink is very much dedicated to that like big pop from like 5+ years ago that used to be the only thing you like got at K-pop. So it's interesting to see. One thing that immediately stood out to me was this album is only 8 tracks, and because Blackpink had only released EPs and singles to this point, I wonder if that's a disappointment to the Blinks, because Blackpink's MO has almost been just kind of like teasing the streets versus
piecemealing
feeding the
things. Yeah.
streets, you know?
Yep. But I almost feel like that works in favor of two things. One, we praise short albums, but people are going to, I think, just want more. And I think anytime you leave people wanting more, wanting to hear more tracks, is never a bad thing, especially with a group like this who already has such a rabid fan base. Like,
Right.
you keep them on the line if you can. BTS puts out a ton of stuff, and I'm always impressed by like their albums, how much work they're putting into it. I mean, they must also be taking language classes on the side with all of this. It's insane the amount of work that these people do to hold down these two markets so well. And I guess like just an international market in general at this point. But the thing is that they really back it up with the music on this. Like you were saying, it does have a throwback feel with the EDM drops, but I was really feeling it on a lot of them. How you like that? You know, you mentioned that's obviously like one of the banger tracks, but a song like Pretty Savage, I thought was really, really strong. Bet You Wanna with Cardi. I mean, Cardi just like was like, I'm just gonna get the bag real quick and like be on this for like 20 seconds, I feel like. But that had a different feel than a lot of the songs on the album, and I thought it worked okay.
Yeah, it did. Cardi was tweeting about how she didn't like that she had to be PG, and like you kind of like can understand why. Like culturally, like the very explicit lyrics and frankness of Cardi B is just not doesn't really exist in most Asian music, right? But hearing Cardi kind of like hold back, it did kind of feel weird to me. Like she was like trying her hardest to rein herself in, and it was weird to me because you listen to Ice Cream with Selena Gomez, which is just littered with sexual innuendo, even if it's still technically like all PG, you know. And it's like, I mean, you could have had Cardi do this too. Like,
yeah,
it's just kind of strange.
You should have switched tracks, I think, with Selena. But I thought Selena's like verse, or I guess guest spot, was pretty strong too.
I definitely like that collab more than Sour Candy from Lady Gaga's album.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and then on the second half of the album, I really thought Crazy Over You had that like Middle Eastern vibe to it.
That has the best rapping on the album too.
Yeah, for sure. Those were, and Love to Hate Me too, I thought was a really strong track. So I don't know if there's anything on here I didn't like, but there are definitely a few songs that stood out for me, and it just feels like sky is the limit for Blackpink. Like you saw the crowd at Coachella that was waiting for them, and the spectacle of that, it's obvious that they're going to be around for as long as they want to be, pretty much.
Right, absolutely. Lovesick Girls, that chorus, that was really like shouty chorus, something, again, you can just see that how that goes in a live setting. Like you just know what that's about. Like thinking of the production, like it's almost like lots of trap and synths, right? Like I think like Super M, the K-pop supergroup that just dropped last week, which we didn't talk about, that's like lots of like Euro dance EDM, which is more traditional K-pop. But it seems like for whatever reason, Blackpink is really focused on that maximalist drops from a few years back. So no one else is really doing that. So by all means, do it. You know, it's all good. Also, I want to say there's a nice profile about Blackpink in Elle, which was a lovely read, eye-opening, and just kind of peek behind the curtain of how busy and how hard these four women work. Because when you're a member of a K-pop outfit in general, it comes with a lot of work. But I feel like when you're this freaking famous, it's insane. And not to talk about BTS, I know the fans don't always get along, but BTS, they're like, oh, we can't tour this summer, let's make another fucking album this year because we have nothing else to do. Like, those guys work so freaking hard too.
Yeah. Dave, I'm just glad that your Elle magazine subscription finally paid off. So
yeah, man, we've been getting on the ground floor, man. We out here.
Any last thoughts on Blackpink?
They're in your area, man. They're here.
I'm in your area.